waiting President Biden to make remarks on his new crime prevention plan. I think it's due in an hour.
Yeah, about that.
He tends to run late, so.
Right. We'll see.
Yeah.
But coming up, ideally in the 3 p.m. hour. But also later, we will show you new undercover video of a drag show aimed at kids while heavily armed Antifa members stood guard outside. We actually have video of it, and we're going to show you that in just a little bit.
You know what bugs me? They described this as a kids-friendly drag show. Those words don't belong together.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're going to talk about that. But first, right now, some citizens in one North Dakota town are circulating a petition to try to prevent a Chinese company there from building a corn mill.
Yeah, the Fufeng Group purchased 370 acres in the city of Grand Forks, but the proposed mill would be only 12 miles from the Grand Forks Air Force Base, a base known for sensitive military drone technology.
Joining us right now to discuss is retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General Blaine Holt, otherwise known as Blaino, if he lets you call him that. General, tell us what's going on here. Because a lot of people are seeing this going on throughout the country, and they're doing similar things around the world. What are they up to, and should Americans be concerned?
They absolutely should. It's great to be with you both, and it's always good to follow my fellow Georgia Bulldog. But what I will say is, this is an espionage play. They want farmland next to one of our bases so that they can set up listening posts, listening centers. They'll have their people work there. Those are not jobs for the good people of Grand Forks.
Right.
And it's part and parcel to what their multi-tier plan for the 192,000 acres of American farmland that they have purchased for $1.9 billion.
Do you think the Biden administration is aware of this strategy, of this approach, of these numbers?
Not only are they aware, and I know it's a bold statement, they're complicit. You cannot go purchase this type of land as a foreign country without someone at the State Department, Commerce Department, Treasury Department, and the administration monitoring, having oversight, understanding that that's what happened. Go ahead and try to buy 1 acre in China and see how that goes for you, because it's not possible.
Yeah, Blaine, why would you say why is the administration complicit? Why would they be? Because
they should be seeing this as a strategic threat for what it is. There's espionage, that's one thing, but that's the smallest thing. Then there's their own arable land requirements. They are destroying their arable land, and their most recent drought and heat wave in the South means the rice crops aren't coming in. So they've got to go find a place to create food somewhere. We're the most abundant, rich farmland in the world, alongside of Canada. But then you've got the ability with those types of holdings to start to move food markets around in the United States. And you have influence in business with us.
Manipulation, otherwise known as, right.
That's exactly right. And So do we as a nation really feel secure as part of our national security plan, having a stated adversary at the least, maybe enemy status with us, having that type of control of our farmland in this country? And I would say, no, we don't. That's not in our best interest.
This is something we should talk more about in the future. But while we have it, we did want to talk about it. It's been a year since the last U.S. service member left Afghanistan, ending a 20-year war that culminated in what's called a chaotic withdrawal. But I think anybody with any conscience has to also think about those 13 service members who died. What lessons do you draw from this, General?
Oh, they're on my heart at this hour, and so are the thousands of people that we left behind, 70,000 in fact, 70,000 who have paid $20 million in fees to be processed by a State Department that has only allowed 123 since we sealed up Kabul.
Wow.
That's not the same way it goes with Ukraine. But the strategic thought here on this arguably worst military disaster in United States history is no one's been held to account, one. Two, this is the domino that cascades through all of our problems. So if you want to find out how we get to Ukraine, Iran bearing down on the Middle East, China bearing down on Taiwan, even the attack on our embassy yesterday in Iraq, go back to Kabul, because you'll see that this is how everybody's interpreted the new weakness of the United States and how we treat our partners and allies.
All right. Wow. General, can you explain the story how Blaine became Blaino?
Yes, I can. So I was a T-38 instructor pilot at Reese Air Force Base in Lubbock, Texas. And I came in one afternoon and the scheduler said, "Hey, Blaino, I need you to fly again." And I made the big mistake of saying, "My name is not Blaino, it's Blaine." And every instructor, like all Air Force squadrons, looked at me and said, "Oh, that bothers you. Well, that's your call sign." And I have embraced it forever. In fact, General Petraeus, if he called my base in Kyrgyzstan and said, "Is Blaino there?" I knew I was in good shape. If he said, "Is Colonel Holt there?" I knew I was in trouble.
Okay. Thank you for the story, General Blaine Holt, otherwise known as Blaino.
Blaino's fine.
I love it.
Thank
All right.
you.
It's going to stick here, too.
You know, we text each other sometimes, and I still have a hard time calling him Blaino. I mean, this is an accomplished brigadier general.
Right.
With an esteemed background. He knows everything and has done everything.
Does, yes.
So it's still hard not to call him General.
General Holt, yes. All right. Blaino. All right. But coming up, the new documents that reveal new information about that raid on Mars.